If you look in the tanks, the condition of the tanks, you can see with the coating, seeing your age is actually very good. So the root of the vessel, or the backbone of the vessel, is in a good condition. Yes, there is some spots of corrosion, and we need to treat them, of course, but the tank in general, they look very good. This area is an escape, and at the same time the emergency fire pump will be installed here. So that's why you see this pipes coming up. There were more pipes coming up because in the old life of the vessel, this was the pump room. So there were different kinds of connections, and there were also more sea connections to take ballast water and whatever. Not needed anymore, so cut away. Yeah. Now, and then if you go up the stairs, it's also immediately also an emergency escape for the engine room. You can go up, and then we go in the next area. Again here, a repurposed area, and you see the old sign to get close at sea, watertight door. This room will be a battery room, and not a battery room as for big batteries, but a battery room for the toys. Nowadays, of course, you see that there's a lot of issues with lithium fires on board of yachts and all the requirements that are there. This will be an A60 protected, total drenching battery room where you can charge all your batteries for your toys. The idea of the owner is that all the toys should be electrical. So that's why we designated this area as battery room area. It's a charging area, storing and charging. The best is to go first here and then to the aft. The space where I stand here actually was an old fuel tank. So we close it off and open it to the side to make, this is the toy store, to make the toy store more spacious. Here you will have a big hatch, hydraulically openable, and there will be a trolley system where, you know, your jet skis, water scooters, sea bobs, but also your Zodiacs and all these kind of things can be transported and be brought onto the deck. There you'll have an emergency escape, another emergency escape, and around here it will be full of toys, and there will be a workbench for the deck to maintain the toys and whatever. The nice thing about this conversion is that you have an enormous amount of space. I think on normal yachts they will be jealous of the amount of space that is here on this yacht. And then maybe first we go to the thruster room. We talked about the Voigt Snyders and the Voigt Snyder system. There will be in the thruster room. So this bulkhead is still old, watertight door is still old, everything aft is new. So we're now in the thruster room, the new section of the vessel, or the new section of the hull. Then you see a weld seam here. Let's say from here it's the old, and that's the new part of the vessel. Idea is that this will be voyage, so it's a voyage tank. At the back is a voyage tank. That will be a rope. The door was already there, but it only has been changed, that the opening is different. And then here you see the electromotor of the Voigt Snyders. So the Voigt Snyders, the trusses have been installed. They're nicely wrapped in plastic, not to have issues. But these are the electrical motors. On top and there below is the trusses. And these two boxes are for the hydraulic units. And again, watertight door. Will come with watertight door here as well, but a different one. Because overhauling is more expensive than new, unfortunately. Now the nice thing about this area as well is that initially they wanted to do this, so they wanted to create the stairs and whatever, and this tender store, or this tender store or deck store. But behind here, this is the weather deck, the old weather deck, let's say. Behind here were void tanks, and I said, why not open them? We're not going to use them anyway, and there's an enormous amount of space. So all of this is, let's say, recovered area, recovered space, which is enormous. So there will be another room for water treatment that will be on this side. So this area also will be for water treatment. I don't know if you can see it because it is dark, there are no lights. And the areas here are simply for storage. There will be a working bench here for the engineers and a workshop. There will also be space for a laboratory. So the idea is that on the one side we will make some desks and a sink and whatever to do laboratory checks when the vessel is used as a research vessel for the marine environment. There will be a door here, and this door will be, which was initially, or in the old times, the control room. This will be the switchboard room for the DC current switchboard, the DC switchboard. So a huge area as well. And it's nice, the crew will have access, let's say from bow to stern, without disturbing the clients. So the platform will remain as is, it will be here. And if you look up here, but you cannot see, but if you were able to look up here, this goes up to the funnel. So this is actually the stack for the exhaust gas. But yeah, the scaffolding is there, so you cannot see it. This is the old weather deck of the vessel. Actually, this was the rescue area. So the idea was when survivors were picked off out of the sea and they were covered in oil and whatever, there were a bunch of showers and toilets here to shower them, and then they would go to the survivor area in the midst of the ship. This area now will be the emergency generator room. So enough space to fit your emergency generator. And walking down here, but I don't think you can see it now with the light, but there will be an emergency escape to the deck. And then here is your AVIT room. So with all your computers and nowadays all the digital stuff can be placed in here, and then all the cables will be routed all over the vessel. This will be the AVIT room, which is huge as well. This area will be the garbage area. So there will be a garbage compactor, whatever, and a storage place to put the garbage. Around the vessel, you see this opening, but around the bow of the vessel there's a void, actually protecting the crew cabins below deck. And the pipe you see here, you see a pipe there, is actually a tunnel to have daylight in that cabins, but that is a sort of protection ring around the vessel, the bow. Maybe a nice detail to say, all the insulation, and that's why you see all the white marks, has been taken off. Why it has been taken off? Because it was soaking wet. No air conditioning, so humidity. So we had to take off all the insulation, and then the company who's going to install the new insulation said, well, it's nice, all these insulation pins, but you know, we're not able to reuse it. I cannot give warranty. So that's why we took all the insulation pins off as well. But more important, what more funny was actually when we were removing this insulation, that there was a hole in the vessel here. And because of that it was behind the insulation, we didn't know. So that's why you see here a new insert, because there was a hole in the ship. Probably caused by one of the tenders. Okay, now we have to go one level down. We are in the old ship now. Let's say that part was new. This is the old part. The new part has 3 levels. The old part has 4 levels. So that's why there are stairs and difficulties. Here you can see as well a stair from the main deck level, gas level, up to forward. This area will be a locker for suitcases. So if your guests and also for the crew, if they come on board, the suitcases can be stored here. If we go up here, this area will be the air conditioning area, the air handling area. So here will be your air conditioning compressors and whatever. And you can see as well, it's huge. The idea is that we'll get double cabins here, double crew cabins. And not all of them, I think there are going to be 6 double cabins. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 2 single cabins. Here you can see that they to comply with MLC requirements, to have daylight, they have made a tunnel. And that was the pipe that I showed you in the void, let's say. And I was talking about this void that was around the vessel, that's this void. So this is not the hull of the ship, this is the tank side, the side of the tank. Okay, then we go up one stair. Let's say crew area. One of the things where you can show that the vessel still really is in a good condition is the chain lockers. So these chain lockers, 25 years old, and they look, yeah, not as new, but they look perfect. So seeing the age of the vessel, she's in a good condition. Where we come now, in this deck, was actually the survivor area. This will be changed into a guest area. On the bottom of the floor, you can see more or less lines where the bulkhead will be. Idea is that this will be a games room, where I stand now. This will be, let's say, a sort of living or relaxing area where you can sit and relax. And in the middle here, what you see on the bottom here, will be the hospital. The hospital for the vessel, with a separate toilet and whatever, like required. Also here, guest toilets. And if we go to the other side, the sauna and the spa will be located in this area, where this will be a gym, and on that area there will be a sauna. And maybe, Rachel, if you come forward, we can walk to the drawing. You can see here the layout of the vessel. Where I said games room, since here guest office and the guest study. This is the gym and this is the sauna. And we are standing here now.